Hello, everyone. My name is Gus Baliarda, and here we are bringing you another interview by What is Your Real Name? Brought to you by AACDQ. And today we're going to be interviewing Bernadette McDonald. I said it right wrong again, sorry.
You did.
Well, you understand. It's my
Yes,
English.
I
Okay.
did.
Well, Bernadette is from Ontario, and she's going to be telling us her story. So, hi, Bernadette. How are you?
Fine, Gus. How are you today?
Good. Thank you. How's the weather up there today?
It's actually beautiful. There could be snow on the ground, but it is nice.
Really?
And it's nice to be on the other side of the screen for a change.
Oh, okay. That's especially right.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. So, but yeah, is the weather like this today there?
Oh, I wish. I wish. The breeze might feel like that. Yeah, but sorry, it might be. We got white. We got lots of white in our yard. Wrong type of white. You don't want to be barefoot. That's for sure.
No, I'm sure not. Well, not there, but here. Can you imagine that? That sand must be warm and cozy.
Oh, you're making me jealous.
Well, it was my intention, but sorry.
It'll be soon enough. It'll be nice and summery here, and then the temperatures will all be complaining about how hot and humid it is. So you know what? Right now, I'll have my grace that it is a beautiful day today. It's not super cold. Thank goodness. Still have white, but it glistens. It looks really pretty, like a million diamonds on the
ground.
Right, on the ground everywhere. So it's really good. Now you just have to watch out for the puddles.
Okay. So, well, I'm sorry, but you can see our cover there, even though it's behind me. But so let's get down to business, Bernadette. Now, tell me. Okay, where were you born?
I was born in Montreal, Quebec, April 9th, 1960.
Okay, so you are a Quebecois.
Absolutely. Well, born there. That's about as close as I have to my French heritage.
Well, I'm a Quebecois. I don't speak French, though.
Oh,
sorry.
Me neither.
So,
me neither.
It's okay. I'll forgive you.
Oh, good. I'm sure we both are familiar with the French language in the inappropriate words.
Yes.
Yes.
I think so.
Everybody's taught those in kindergarten, aren't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, maybe you had that luck. I didn't have that luxury. In Puerto Rico, I think you can find very, very, very little people that spoke French.
Wow.
Or speak French. So, yeah. Being a Spanish country. So,
well, in Ontario, we have all languages.
Okay, so you were born where? In Nova Scotia? No, Montreal?
My birth mother lived in Three Rivers.
Okay.
In Quebec, and there was a birth of myself and another on April 9th, 1960 in Montreal.
Oh, of another?
Absolutely.
So, twins, you mean?
Yes, we are. That would be my sister.
No, do you know, are you fraternal twins or identical twins? Do you know?
As far as I've been told, we are identical. However, I don't know. I have that, what you call that, twin connection, in a sense. And I think we are very, very similar. And unfortunately, she had been adopted at birth. Our mother was unaware of having two pregnancies at the same time. We were both sitting back to back. Therefore, one heartbeat was heard during the entire time of her pregnancy. And, being young, unwed, it was a part of the times when you did not embarrass the family. You know, you needed to be wedded, and she wasn't. So her journey led her from Nova Scotia, where she was born and raised, to Quebec. And my sister was born and popped out me 20 minutes later.
Oh, wow.
I know.
And, okay, so do you mind telling us what year you were born?
1960.
1960. Okay. Yeah, I'm asking all these questions because who knows if she sees this video.
Well, exactly. And the thing is, with adoption also, 99% of the time their actual birth date is changed, and it could be altered the day before, the day after, a week before, a week after, you know, and you know, so forth. And sometimes it's even changed to the day of an adoption.
That's right. That's right. Now, do you know why she was giving up on adoption and you weren't?
Well, yes and no. The way the story goes, that my mother had shared with me while she was still alive, she is no longer alive, was she was only expecting one child, and an adoption had been arranged. And that's the only line I ever got from my mother. Adoption was arranged. No date as to when, who, whatever. So the adoption had been arranged. Like I said, my sister was born 20 minutes prior to me. So of course she was taken off. And with that, my mother phoned her mother, my grandmother, and said, like, okay, we have two, what do we do? And the arrangement was my grandmother would financially support me as long as I stayed under my mother's roof. And so if I needed school supplies, if I needed money, allowance, anything like that, I was and did go to my grandmother for it. So that arrangement that had been made between my mother and her mother stayed right up until the time when, you know, unfortunately my grandmother had passed also. So yeah.
Okay. So I imagine, do you have a picture of her or anything about her?
The only thing I potentially have a picture, which I will share. Now this picture has two babies in it. One is in black and white, which I have been led to believe through my mother and family and so forth, that one in the black and white is my twin. I am the one that's in the color, and that's all I have. There's a lot of similarities between us, but I can see a little differences in our nose and our mouth, but it's very, very similar. Our shape, the whole bit. Now, could that have been a fabrication? Who knows? There's no definite proof of that. I know later in life, going whitewater rafting, I would have sworn I saw my twin. And even a videographer had noticed a lot of similarities, let's just put it that way. That made my mother actually go, there you are. To her surprise, it wasn't. You know, so there's been, quote, spottings, I guess you could say, over the years. But nothing's ever panned out, I guess you will. And the whitewater rafting happened in Pembroke, which is literally right across the river to Montreal. So, you know, does she still live in that area? Who knows? Who knows? I can only hope.
Do you know her name? Yes.
Her name is, or her birth name, her baptized name is Bernadine. Bernadine. We were both baptized at the same time. And I was baptized baby Bernadette. She was baptized baby Bernadine.
Okay. Okay.
You know, later, I came to find out, well, only recently, actually, what her potential full name is.
Okay, do you want to tell us that?
I'll share it in a little bit.
Okay, good. Okay. So, have you done DNA testing?
Yes, I have. And there's actually a comical story about that. Part of my purpose of doing DNA was solely to find my twin sister. I felt exhausted, all the tools that I was aware of. I had exhausted family, friends, people, establishments, groups, and so forth. So I had requested from my children a DNA kit, which I had received 1 year for Christmas, an ancestry DNA kit. Mm-hmm. So I got the kit, I did it, sent it forth. Come across to finding a first cousin who asked me if I knew who my biological father was. And I was like this. I was only focused on my sister. Nowhere at any given time did I actually fathom that I could find my biological father, nor fathom the idea that I had potential siblings other than my twin. So this led me down a different road of finding a biological father and 3 living siblings out of 4 from that side.
Okay, so you didn't know then who your biological father was?
Well, no, my mother had given me a name years ago as to who she felt the father was. And I had done 10 years of hunting this person down, which I did. I ended up finding him, and we kind of both looked at each other. Now, I had been conversing with him when I finally found him, and, saying my situation, who I was, really kind of feeling him out kind of thing as to whether I wanted to pursue this or not. He was a lovely gentleman, and I met him physically, and we both kind of looked at each other and went, I don't think so, But with that being said, he was kind enough to take me to his family doctor to do the parental swab. Just to, because DNA, you never know what part you have of your mom and what part you have of your dad or a distant relative. So we did, and, as we suspected, it came back as, he is not your father. And we carried on. So I gave up the hope. I truly had given up the hope. It was 10 years of broken thoughts, promises, expectations, and it wasn't a sole purpose for me. My sole purpose from the time I found out I was a twin was to find her. That was it. I had a stepfather who, had given me the name McDonald via their marriage. But yeah, and 4 brothers. So it was interesting. Let's just put it that way. It was interesting. Dynamics.
Okay, so have you met your biological father?
Yes, I did. I met him, I think it's 4 years ago now, almost 4 years. And I met him because when I did my DNA, I knew nothing about DNA, how it worked, what CMs meant, what it meant as a first cousin or second, third, fourth, distant, whatever. And there was this lady who had come up on mine as a first cousin, and it was extremely high CMs. And I'm like, oh, my heart was racing, and I'm thinking, oh, I found her. Well, it ends up being a first cousin. And through our conversation, she had said to me, do you know who your biological father is? Well, I had to ponder that for a moment, and it's like, okay, do I really want to go down that road again? Do I want to get my hopes up and have it broken? So with hesitation. I'll be honest, with hesitation. It was like, no, I don't. Why? And she basically said to me, I know who your father is. And I'm like, really? Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay. How? She goes, you are the spitting image of your father in female version.
And do you have a picture of him?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. And you know what? When we first met, we did do a DNA to confirm it. We didn't need to do DNA to confirm it. The attachment was immediate. It was beautiful. We knew, both of us knew, it wouldn't have mattered whether a DNA was given or taken. It was instant. It was like, okay, all those years of trying to find out and figure out and what's a lie, what's not a lie, all came to fruition. It was like, it was beautiful. You know, so my first experience with him was, fortunately enough, 3 weeks, almost 3 weeks, because there was a freak ice storm that year. And basically I got locked down, locked down into his place, not able to leave or go anywhere. It was a trying experience in a lot of respects, because he didn't know he was a father to me. He didn't know he had another child out there, let alone a twin girls. He didn't remember my mom. So that made the dynamics a little different and awkward at times, because here I'm feeling rejuvenated and alive, and I just want to tell you everything, you know. And I had to sit back. I had to, you know, allow him his space, his time, to work in whatever relationship he wanted. And I was prepared to allow him to dictate what relationship he wanted. And at the same time, I had a half sister who joined me on this journey to visit him for the first time. So, wow. Yeah, and it's family. I mean, I never met her before. Like I said earlier, never had the concept, not even the concept, that there could be other siblings. Like, it blew my mind to know that I had sisters, let alone another brother, which when I find my twin will make 10 of us all together, from 2 parents, 10 children, 5 girls, 5 boys.
Wow.
You know, so yeah. And I mean, with my sister, she was kind enough to fly from British Columbia out to my place and share the journey to our dad's house to introduce us. And that came with a little hesitation over the times. I'll have to admit, it wasn't all unicorns and daisy dust. Like, it really wasn't. We clashed. Her perception of me coming into the picture at this time in his life, like, why? What do I want? What do I expect? And basically, what am I going to take from my other siblings, now being the oldest? You know, so it was maneuvering around those dynamics and just saying, look, he was totally off my radar. Totally off my radar. It came by a freak accident. I'm grateful he's not homeless. I'm grateful he's doing well. I'm grateful his life is what it is, you know? And all I want to do is get to know him. Find out who my dad is. Yes, we got a few years to catch up on, in a sense, which we did in some sense the following year when I went back by myself. But that first initial one was I think between both of us, trying to rack our brain around how we fit each other into our lives.
Yeah.
I live in Ontario. He lives in Quebec still. So it was the distance and the time it took. You know, I drive, so yes, I would drive there. He's elderly now, as you know, as the word goes, elderly now, still living very active to a degree, with some limitations. So it's like, all right, well, how do I allow you to see my life without you coming to me? How do I enjoy your life without me going there all the time? So it consisted of several phone calls, not very long conversations, because he's not one for a phone, but it is what it is, you know, learning different personalities, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a beautiful journey. I've seen him 4 times now. And actually my last visit, I had the privilege of meeting another sibling, my brother from that side. And it was beautiful. It was almost as if we had grown up together, you know. And with my sister also, who you know, was there from the beginning in a lot of sense. Our dynamic has changed over the years, thank goodness, you know, because it was a struggle. It really was. And not wanting to overstep my boundaries, but in the same token, really wanting to dig deep to find out who they really are. Because, you know, you meet people for the first time, yeah, perceptions can be totally different from who they become 3 years later.
Yeah.
So it was working out those dynamics, and I'm always one to yak. I like to talk, so that was unfamiliar territory for them. You know, I was the loud one. So it's like, well, sorry, not sorry.
So, does he speak English?
Yes, he speaks English and French. So does my one sister. I don't believe my brother and my other sister do. The one sister I have not met yet. She's in Alberta. I have not met her because of distance and COVID and so forth. We just haven't had the opportunity yet to have both of us at the same province at the same time. We're working on that for next year to be at our father's place. And it'll be the first time in any of our lives that Dad has had all his kids but one. You know, hopefully I find my twin by then. If I find my twin by then it'll be a complete circle.
Let's hope so.
Yes.
Let's hope so.
Yes.
You know how difficult it is to find siblings?
Yes.
Especially through DNA. Unless they take a test, it's practically impossible. So the methods that needs to be used to work with that are totally different, are based on paperwork trail and government records, etc., etc. And
school records too. Like school records come in handy. Marriage certificates,
yes.
Baptismal, like there's all kinds of things that help with all the tools to unite.
And this is one of the tools that we are trying to use to that end.
Yes.
So the story...
Knowledge is knowing. And once you know, then it can assist and help you on your own journey.
Of course. And this is why I believe this is one of the reasons that we're doing this. So people like you can share your story and the story can be out there. And who knows, maybe
one day she'll be on YouTube and going, hey, she looks familiar. Hey, does she look like me?
Yeah. maybe,
it's,
maybe that's it.
yeah.
Maybe that's it.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I kind of have to laugh because in the beginning of my journey, I had did a photo album actually that had, I think almost close to 20,000 views of me over the years, in hopes that somebody would say, "Hey, I know who your sister is," or my sister would be looking, or potentially her children if she has any. Say, "Hey, Mom, whatever." And it's funny because over the last, I think it's 4 years now it's been on. No, maybe, yeah, 3 or 4 years. Not one person has ever approached me. Not one. Which I found very strange, because it's like, all right, I've had a lot of people when I go to restaurants or go to the grocery store or stuff, they sort of take a second look. And you can almost read their mind. Hey, she looks familiar. Why does she look familiar? And there has been times when I've literally said, "Oh, do I look familiar to you?"
yeah, but look, on the other hand, what happened with your father, with your biological father? Someone told you, "I know who your birth father is."
Exactly. And who knows? I may already know who she is, and just haven't touched bases yet.
Yeah, and that can happen.
Yeah.
That can happen. I've seen it happening.
Well, exactly. And ideally, for me, it would be to be somewhere, turn around and go, "Oh my God, I know you. Been looking for you for 61 years, lady."
Well, I can tell everyone just to join every single group on Facebook related to adoption.
Yeah.
And ask for help. But ask.
Exactly.
Be direct. Don't be there just listening.
Yeah.
If the group offers help, ask them, "Who can help me? I'm looking for my biological father, biological mother." But do it.
Yeah. It's like me. I have a top half of a statue from a baptismal that was given to me. At one point, it did have a base on it stating where it was from. And from what I had been told from my mother, it's the statue that was given to her when both of us were baptized.
Okay.
So she would have one, I would have one. Now, over the years of distension in my home with my mother and stepfather and so forth, the bottom half of the statue got broken so that I would not find out where it was from. So that information I do not have as to where it is from. It is a statue of the Mother Mary, and I'm sure the picture will be seen. And so there's that. Let's see, what else do I have? I had being a keyword, I had a video from when I went whitewater rafting, and I don't know what I did with it. I really don't. I had it in my hand. I had it all these years in my hand. And 2 years ago, I had taken it out to get the date off it as to when this experience happened. And unfortunately, I didn't see the video until I got home. So it wasn't a matter of seeing it while I was there and saying, "Hey, who was in that raft?" So that part of the journey had led to a dead end, because the rafting company that I had gone on this weekend with had been bought out by another company, and therefore all the attributes of the forms people filled out or the videos were either destroyed, misplaced, tossed, whatever the case may be.
What a shame.
I know. I mean, there's a lot of history there, and You know, if I had lost it or misplaced it, even 5 years ago, I would have been able to obtain it because the company wasn't bought out until I think 3 years ago. So, you know, is it the universe's way of saying, yeah, you're not going to meet her yet? Who knows? Who knows? I will never give up trying. Let's just put it that way.
No, you will eventually find her. It will happen.
I believe so.
It will happen.
Yeah.
So I was thinking as you were talking, and and you were saying that next year you're going to try to meet with all your siblings and your biological father.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
What do you think about eventually having an interview with you and all your siblings?
I would love that, you know, and I've already spoken to one of my siblings about that. So it is already, the bug's already in their ear, and it would be a matter of whether they could be comfortable enough to be honest without just using a yes or no answer. You know?
I understand. But what I'm talking about and what I'm trying to say is not in individual interviews, but an interview with all of you at the same time.
I would love that.
I think.
Would it happen? Who knows? Who knows? It's worth a try, you know?
Well, I just wanted to put it out there. It's another idea, and I would love to see that interaction between all of you, and I would even say, you know, I would love to be present and see that first meeting of you guys. That would be incredible.
Well, there's only one sister other than my twin that I have not physically met yet.
Yes, but
this would be the first time all of us, you know,
all of you together. Yeah, it happened to me, you know, even though I met my mom, my birth mother, many years ago. Only in 2018, I met my biological brothers, and the experience was out of this world.
I can imagine.
It's your siblings are always your siblings. It doesn't matter what happened with your biological parents.
Exactly. And that was the foundation we had to build our relationship on, because you have to understand, Gus, with me being the oldest, and there's 4 siblings below me, in a sense, from that side of the family, their concept of timing was that our father was unfaithful to their mother.
Yeah.
So here I come in, and it's like, I don't know if that was true. Can't confirm that. I know that their mother and my mother, almost the same age, within a year of each other, I believe. And it was new relationship for their mother and our dad. So with it being a new relationship, would it still be considered as being unfaithful, opposed to them being married and him stepping out, which is my understanding, based on the dates and the times and everything, that it was in the beginning ages of their mother and our father's relationship. You know, so that had to work into the conversation. It had to be a very awkward moment when they found out about me, for them to understand that I'm not a product of infidelity. You know, like he didn't step out of his marriage. So that already started with a boom, and I know there's a lot of people who in their journey have that start, and it causes a rift at times, and it is what it is. And all I would do is look at them and say, I am not the product of my mother. I'm not the product of my father. I am a combined date.
You're a product, period. You're not guilty.
I'm a combination of both on a date.
Yes, but you're not guilty of what happened.
Exactly. It's not my story,
It is part of your story, but you were not the one that made it happen.
Correct.
So you are, how they say, what, bystander?
Yes, exactly.
And your siblings, it's the same for them. They're bystanders.
Yes.
So, and I believe, that yes, in every story is different, because I've heard of siblings very welcoming right away. They didn't care if it was a matter of their biological parents running around or whatever reason it was.
Yeah.
And I've heard also stories of people that they don't want anything to do because their father or their mother did whatever they did.
Yeah. I think our dynamics was a little bit different with the fact that my mother had already passed when I met them and met our, my biological father, but their mother had not passed at that point. So even though their mother and our father were no longer together, there was still a presence. There was still a presence there. There was still, this is my mother's wishes. This is how my mother perceives things. So therefore we can't go against what she believes. We want to, but we can't. It's our mother, and that to me was heartbreaking, because it's like, all right, well, you're blaming me personally for something that happened 60 years ago and didn't involve me, so it was working out those details too. Like, there's a lot of details when you meet family, new family. What conversations are going to come up? And a couple of the main ones is, okay, may not be initially, but the thought is always there. Are you a product of stepping out of a marriage? Are you a gold digger? Are you here to cause us harm? What do you want? What are your expectations? And it frustrates me because not all of us think alike. Not all of us fit in that boat. So if the narrative is you're bad because, then it takes years. It takes years to get over that hurdle. It takes years to understand from a different perspective. And that's the whole thing. As much as I could tell you that, I couldn't, because I had to embrace the moment, her authenticity of how she was feeling based on somebody else's perception. So therefore I had to prove to her that I am not what she thinks. I do not do what she thinks I may do. I'm not like those in the horror movies. I'm not gonna bring you harm. This is who I am. Yes, I may be a little bit too talkative for a lot of people, and I'm okay with that. I'm good. Maybe too loud for people. I'm okay with that. Maybe a little too more adventurous than somebody else. I'm okay with that. I'm a morning person, and I'm absolutely okay with that. But it comes with resistance when you're coming across family that is not morning people. Just saying.
Well,
so, it's working it out, right?
Yeah, everyone is different, and we just need to be adults
Yes,
and learn to accept the other person and not to try to change the other person.
absolutely.
Because when we try doing that, is that problem starts happening, or when we start pointing fingers.
Yes, and you know what? The whole thing is to be authentic. Just be yourself.
Yes.
Like, period. Just be yourself. Yes. Is there going to be times that people are going to question it? You know what? Yeah. So what? So what? You've got nothing to lose by being yourself. You have everything to lose if you're living up to a perception.
Yes.
Everything is to be lost, because the truth always comes out.
Always. I agree with you. And I think I can talk about that, but I'm not going to do it now. We can leave that for another video, another interview on how my father was found and everything that happened afterwards. But today is your turn. So
today is my turn.
And yes.
Do you want to know what my real name is?
Of course I know. I want to know. Sorry.
Which one?
You're gonna tell us.
Which name? People are going, huh?
Your real name.
Okay, well, my real name in this life, as I know it, is Bernadette Marie McDonald. My legal name on an affidavit signed by my mother to confirm I was born in the province of Quebec is Bernadette Marie Moodie-Gallowey. My twin, via my mother's affidavit, my twin's real name at time of birth on an affidavit that my mother had signed is Bernadine Marie Galloway. Now, my other name via DNA is Bernadette Marie Leduc.
Of course, that's your father's last name.
That is my father, my biological family name,
Wow, interesting, yes. Super interesting.
I know, right? So what? I get to pick.
Yes. And which one you're gonna pick?
Well, I'm gonna stay with McDonald. And the reason I'm doing that is because I have two lovely children, and I have grandchildren, who share the name McDonald. So I feel like I earned the right to that name. I've paid for that name in a lot of respects. When I applied for a passport, to come to find out that I needed my birth information to be confirmed. So needless to say, having to go through the Canadian consulate way, I earned the right to that name. So all my legal documents, I was in the Canadian Armed Forces. So even in that venue, I was known as McDonald. So I will keep it. I am always acknowledging I am a Leduc. I will always acknowledge in any way, shape, or form in hoping to find my twin sister that we, for some odd reason, don't ask me why, that I don't know the answer to, why we share the name Galloway. Moody was my mother's maiden name. So I understand that part. I do not understand, and nor have I found answers as to where the name Galloway comes in. Is it my twin's adopted name? I have no idea. All I know is it's an open book journey, and eventually Eventually, the chapters will make sense.
Yeah. Eventually it will happen.
Absolutely, I do too.
Yeah, well, and now before we finish this interview, I would like to ask you,
Okay.
what was the idea that brought this series of interviews that you name What is Your Real Name?
Well, I happened to watch a movie that's called Taken at Birth. While I was watching it, I have to admit, I had several different emotions going on within me because the perceptions that they were showing from different angles were all very different. Some I didn't like so much, but they were a reality. So by the time the movie was over, I had that aha moment that, you know what? Even at my age, there were conversations within that movie that made me think, that made me wonder how many other people out there have a different perspective of this whole situation. I know we all go in with the, anticipation of this journey being a cut and dry. Oh, I've done DNA. I'm going to find my family. I'm going to find my sibling, or I'm going to find my twin. It's the end all be all. And a lot of times it isn't. And sometimes you're waiting years. Sometimes you have to wait for technology to change. Sometimes you have to wait for different tools to be available or people to even help you. Sometimes you're going to come across people who just don't understand, and therefore their perception of why would you even want to find somebody is totally different from somebody that's going, yay, I gotta find them. And it was like, you know what? The more people that can hear these podcasts, see these videos, so forth, the more perception they have of a situation, maybe a little more compassion that they have for those who are searching. Maybe it's a little more hope to those still looking, or those who have given up looking because they haven't found what they are looking for. So that was my journey behind wanting to do these podcast videos.
Oh, interesting. So I'm looking forward to listen to more videos and more interviews, and I want to thank you for all your honesty.
You're welcome.
And that all those emotions and all those tears during their interview, which I believe were of happiness.
Yes.
And I identify with that. You almost made me cry. So thank you so much for sharing such a big part of your emotional life. And I hope that this video does help in finding your sister.
I can only wish. I wish. So everybody needs to like, share,
and subscribe. Please.
Yes.
Just help us. Just help us have these out there. Have everyone view this video, because it could mean the difference. It could be the difference between finding someone or not.
Exactly.
So please, everyone, please.
Well, it's been a
share.
pleasure, Ross, and thank you so much for interviewing me.
Well, I had fun doing it, and of course, you're also my cousin, distant cousin, but we are cousins.
Yes.
So
we would be related by blood.
Yes.
Somewhere along the line.
Yes. So thank you, Bernadette, so much. Sorry, that's
okay.
how I call her on Because she's my
friends
cousin.
call me Bernie. And you know what I often wonder too? My sister, if she kept her name Bernadine, if she would be known as Bernie also.
Probably. Probably.
You know? So, yeah. You know, it'd be nice one day to see if there's any commonality between us other than potentially the physical, since our physical gene tends to flow very strongly in our family. So yeah, so that's where I am, and I'm glad to help, and I just hope everybody listens in, potentially helps. You know, I'm not the only story. You're not the only story. There's going to be many stories. So, you know, more eyes on it, more hope there is.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you, Bernadette, again, and thank you everyone for watching. And please remember, share the video, and
like and subscribe.
Yes, subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you so much, everyone, and have a great day.
Thank you. Have a great day.